favorite Bible story. Everyone has that special character that they aim to be. I always wished I could be more like my namesake, Abigail, a girl who said all the right words at the right time to save her family from the righteous wrath of, not yet king, David. But do you have a least favorite Bible story? Does a story come to mind that sets your teeth on edge because of the wrongness of the situation? I have one of those too, the whole book of Judges. And I wish I had enough time to adequately explain why, but all boils down to this. The book of Judges shows what people are like without God. I'm an optimist. I always like to see the bright side of things, and I'm sometimes called naive because of my happy-go-lucky personality. So it's natural for me to want to believe that if God took a 5-minute break with the leaders of Israel, so that Israel would view God as their king, they would be able to serve him continually. Boy, am I wrong. And I think that's what I find so skin-crawling about the book of Judges. The book of Judges shows what people are like when they think God isn't watching, and they don't pass inspection. My first example is not in Judges, but I think it sets the theme for Judges. It all starts with Jericho. The battle undoubtedly belongs to God, so everything in the city does as well. Everything in the city is devoted to God. Enter Achan. Achan. I really hoped he'd be a good guy, but maybe that's just my optimist showing through. Achan stole from Jericho, though. He, quote, broke faith in regard to the devoted things. And when Israel finds out, through God, what Achan did, and they ask Achan why he did it, this is Achan's response. Truly, I have sinned against the Lord God of Israel. This is what I did when I saw the treasures from. Among the spoils, I coveted them, and I took them. Achan says, I saw it, I wanted it, and so I took it. This sets the theme for the book of Judges. A good example of seeing, wanting, and taking is found in the story of Samson. I always think it's funny that more people don't name their son Samson. After all, he's everything you could want in a young man. He's big and he's strong, and he's often said to have the Spirit of God come upon him, not to mention his most fabulous hair. But when you really get into this masculine judge, there's not one part of him I'd want to name a child after. And it all starts like this. Samson went down to Timnah and saw there a young Philistine woman. When he returned, he said to his father and mother, I've seen a young Philistine woman in Timnah. Now get her for me as my wife. Whoa, man, shouldn't you take her out to dinner first? Buy her a goat or something? But verse 7 in the ESV says, he went down and talked with the woman, and she was right in Samson's eyes. Oh, he cared more about eye candy than a meaningful relationship. He saw the woman, he wanted her, and so he took her as his wife. Read the rest of chapter 14 to see exactly how well that marriage worked out. My third story I'll share with you today from my least favorite book is Micah. Chapter 17 through the end of the book of Judges is the most bone-chilling, heart-stopping, gruesome story. The story of Micah. There was a man in the hill country of Ephraim whose name was Micah. He said to his mother, the 1,100 pieces of silver which were taken from you, and about which you uttered a curse, and spoke it in my ears, behold, the silver is with me, I took it. And his mother said, blessed be my son by the Lord. I dedicate the silver to the Lord from my hand to my son, to make a carved image and a metal image. Now therefore I restore it to you. And the man Micah had a shrine, and he made an ephod and household gods, and he ordained one of his sons to become his priest. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot make this stuff up. First off, he stole from his mom. You just don't do that. And when he finally fessed up, he made an idol out of it, for crying out loud. And I wish I could go over the rest of chapters 18 through 21 with you, so I could firmly seal my opinion in your mind about my least favorite book. It has a whole lot of seeing, wanting, and taking, to the point of breaking oaths, to rape, to murder. No one under the age of 25 should read it. So, what's this got to do with Refuge, the theme of why we're gathered here today? I think this is all a long-winded introduction to say this. People need God. No amount of wishing and optimism will get us around that. People need God. We need him to save us from ourselves. The book of Judges shows how wrong we are in thinking that we're okay all alone. We see things, we want them, and so we take them. Without God, we're nothing but dust. We need to find shelter in him. We need him to be our refuge.